I think we're on the air.
Okay.
So, hello everybody. I'm here with Dr. Sadaf Ulde, my dear friend from Mumbai, a very experienced practitioner and skillful homeopath. And we are doing a series of homeopathy discussions to just help bring more understanding about what it is and how it works and how it can help people. So hi Sadaf, welcome.
Hi, Oonagh. Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining me. Yes.
Most welcome.
Um, it's so nice to have you visiting California right now because it's just easy to connect with you. Um, even Skype is a little hard when someone's on the other side of the world. So you, um, I know you're a very good teacher and speaker, and I love to hear your take on things. So how do you explain to people why is homeopathy holistic? What does that mean? And
Okay.
what does it mean when you're giving a holistic remedy?
Okay. So, first and foremost, unlike allopathic medicine or Ayurveda or Unani, homeopathy comes up with a concept of individualization and holism. So often the people are left with this cue, oh my god, what is this holism, individualization? What are you talking about? So the simplest explanation is when the law of homeopathy was formulated, the first thing which was given most important was like cures like. Okay, so if we want to know what is like cures like, it's very simple that a substance that is being taken, okay, and it's proven in a healthy human being, it gives rise to certain area of symptoms. Like for example, arsenic in the raw form when it is taken,
Mm.
emitting rice watered stools and extreme prostration, weakness. Similarly, when we see in a human being a similar kind of diarrheic constitution developing, weakness, rice watery stool, extreme prostration, we give arsenic in an extremely diluted form when there is no substantial evidence of arsenic to the person which cures.
Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah,
just let me recap a little because you said a lot that's really important. So homeopathy is different in a couple of ways. The first essential way is like cures like. So what a substance can cause in a
yes,
poisonous dose, in a large dose, it can also cure in a
in a minute.
very minute, safe dose. And when we say minute, it's actually not even a chemical dose. It's
Yes.
diluted and diluted so many times that it's past the point where statistically there would be any molecule of arsenic left. So
True.
and the other thing, so if it's diluted so many times, why does it still have?
Yes. It's because of the dynamic energy of that substance. So it's what we heal it. It's at an energy level. Also, most of the Indian scientists has been able to prove, like an IIT team of Powai, have been proved about homeopathy having nanoparticles, which are
Mm,
able to cure the human dynamics.
mm,
So if we now connect this to your first question, why is it that homeopathy is called individualistic or holistic? What do you mean by that, right? So when a person comes to us as a homeopath, suppose there's a person who's having a headache, okay?
mm,
So when he's coming to an allopath, when they say headache, there are list of doses that are being given, that are being predefined. Like if it is a gastric headache, they'll give an antacid and a painkiller. If it is just a nervous headache, only a painkiller is given, and the thing is being sorted. But with the homeopath, when you say headache, my headache and your headache is going to differ.
yes.
Okay, so what I will do is I will try and understand what is it in Oonagh's headache differing from my headache. Okay, which side
Yes.
affection it is, what is causing this headache? What is it that makes her a special person than me, or a different person than me? So you see, in this bargain, you're not just studying a part of a person. So there was an ancient homeopath, Dr. James Tyler Ken, who says we see not a part that is diseased, but a man who's in a disease state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we try to understand the man behind this disease state before prescribing. So if you say and come, hello, Dr. Sadaf, I'm having a headache. Please, can you help me out? I will say, sorry, I cannot.
That's
You need
right.
to give me a different. Okay, you have to sit down. It's not like you're traveling and you just pop up some pills and give it to anyone, right?
That's
You
right.
need to sit. You need to understand what is this headache like, how it is, why it is,
Mhm.
because we believe in homeopathy that every individual person perceives a certain thing in a certain way.
Yes.
Yes. Let's give a simple example. If I take you to very important monument of India, that is Taj Mahal.
Mhm.
Okay, we consider it as one of the seven wonders of the world. So if three individuals are coming with me to see this Taj Mahal, everybody will perceive it in a very different way. Like for some, it will be, my God, it's so beautiful. Look at the architect, look at the designing, look at the structure, right? For others, oh my God, this is a symbol of love, right? They will go behind
Yes.
the story. And for some other, it will be like, oh, do you know this man, this king was like this, he did that, he did this. And this is how the Taj Mahal was carved. So you see, one particular thing and three different people view, okay?
Yes.
And it's very
Hmm.
common in each every front of our life. Maybe you are stuck in a traffic jam, right? A simple
Yes.
example which we all face day to day. You're stuck in a traffic and you're like, for some it will be, oh my God, now I'm stuck. I'm not going to be moving from this place. For some other person it will be, oh shit, now this is going to make my plan go haywire. I had organized my day like this. Now it is something else. And for third person, that bloody car that is blocking my way, I'll see to it that I now cross it again. You see,
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
people having a complete different view. And that is what I feel makes homeopathy a special science. When you're trying to see that what is different in each and every individual.
That's right. Yeah. So even on a big scale, when we're talking about somebody in their life, like you in your life, me in my life, that when the way we perceive our world and the way we feel about being here and what it's like, and we're both absolutely individual. Your experience is not like mine. My experience is not like yours.
Exactly.
And like if I like to say, if I could look out of your eyes for one day and just experience the world the way you experience it, it would blow my mind because it's so
Exactly.
completely different from my experience. And
Exactly.
not just because you're from another culture, that even adds more difference, but
Yeah, we all have a different experience at the level of
yeah,
environmental issues, at the level of the
right.
familial background, at the level of spiritual background, and every aspects of our lives are different. Even two
Hmm.
people growing up in same family will have a
Exactly.
different experience, right? Because your trauma,
Yeah,
your life experiences are never going to match with the other, right?
right,
So
right.
it's always in homeopathy we believe that we need to go beyond headache.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we call it holism. We are not looking at just the headache which is at the surface. So like you say, the tip of the iceberg. So your headache or your
Yes.
illness is the tip of the iceberg, mounted by several of things which is there underneath. It has
Hmm.
over a period of time developed. So in homeopathy we try and understand every aspect of a person's life right from the childhood.
Hmm.
Okay, right from his experiences and dreams, in interest and hobbies, in every different area, what is this person experiencing? What is it that is so different in this person, or what is that music or that other song, like how Dr. Shankaran has framed that, what it is that is different in this particular person which is making him unique. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's very, I think a lot of people don't realize, because here, we've really grown up with Western medicine, and different aspects of your health or discomfort or your experience were not seen as linked together. At least maybe a
Yes.
little more in India than here in the US. But I think this is a very new idea to people, that, like, if I'm working with a client and I'm looking at their whole health history and the patterns of what what they like to eat, how they feel about different kinds of weather, what makes them feel good, what makes them feel not good, all of that is very unique to the person. And then if I look at all of those things together, I see that they're linked in a pattern.
Yes, they all
It's,
formulate a pattern. So,
yeah.
unlike allopathy looking after the pathological reports, where we'll be looking after the vital signs, homeopathy takes it a little bit further, where we try to understand what is it that makes this person different, suffering from the other person's suffering. Okay, so
Yes, yes.
you when we look after the type of headache, the severity of the headache, the causation of headache, then the psychological aspect behind the headache, how is person adopting to this headache. I'll give you an example. I had a patient with a headache, and this patient, she will come and say, doctor, this headache is so bad, I feel like tearing at things apart.
Mm.
Like, describe this tearing apart. Like, it just throbs and throbs the whole day. I don't know what I have to do. And on observation, I could see that with during her headache period, she said that my eyes and everything will turn red.
Mm.
Okay, I feel heated up. Okay, the headache is so much. I feel my body gets heated up, and I'm extremely scared till death. Wow. Now you see it's so strange. Headache and headache relating to scared till death. Let's talk about this scared till death. So this person said, "Hey, doctor, this fear. I have this fear, and that fear completely paralyzing me. I
Mm.
just can't move with this fear. This headache gives so extreme amount of fear to me."
Yeah.
To talk more about this fear. And then when we go in lot of the history of this person, I could find that this person was extremely sensitive, and she had extreme fear of ghosts, of watching scary movies, being alone, being in dark night,
Mhm.
extremely cowardized person.
Yes.
And every time something in her life will happen suddenly. Okay,
Mm.
even the nature of her headache will be sudden,
Yes.
sudden, violent. So now we will go back when we analyze the case at every aspect. We find that the complaints, the physical complaint are sudden, the nature of the complaint are violent,
Hmm.
and even in her life, what happens is everything happens suddenly, violently, and her reaction is fear and paralyzed.
Did you give her?
Okay.
Did you give her belladonna?
Yes. So you see the whole pattern of a particular plant family, okay, where she
Yes.
feels completely feared, terrorized, and paralyzed. Okay.
Yes.
Yet another example, if I give, of a headache. Now, this female, typical feeling that in her headache, she would want to close herself.
Mm.
Okay, she will want to shut off the world. She wouldn't like people come during a headache. She said, "Doctor wants to sit like this position, okay,
Show
or to
show the
sleep off
position. Can you show the
like this,
position one more time? Because
like this."
okay.
Okay, she just wanted to close off her eyes and she wanted to sit still, not wanting to be disturbed. Okay,
Yes.
and then you see in her history, you could understand that she never had a good marital life with her husband. She had, over
Mm.
a period of time, developed aversion to her husband. She was an independent female, but after her marriage, she had to give up everything, and she developed this place where she had developed hatred towards her husband, complete
Mm.
indifference towards her life. She would say, "I just don't feel like living anymore." Okay,
Wow.
had no feeling or interest in doing anything, no interest in dressing up, no interest in going out, and moreover, even her sexual life was affected. She had no interest in it either.
Yeah.
Okay, so all her life, and she had a lot of menstrual problems, scanty menses,
Mm-hmm.
developed PCOD along with it. So now again,
PCOD.
if you go to an allopath, this headache will have never been related to a hormonal thing. They will say, okay, you have a headache, take this
Mm.
paracetamol or take this medicine and you go. But as a
Right.
homeopath, you say along with the headache, what it is, what other organs are also involved. So in
Yes.
her case, it was not just a headache, unlike the first case where it was just the headache. Here, she
Mm.
also had a disturbed history of a menstrual cycle,
Yes.
right? She
Mm-hmm.
also had a disturbed emotional life. So you see, there are
Yes.
3 or 4 factors that come in, okay?
Yes.
And that's how that led to her headache. And hence, understanding, he asked her more about this. He said, I completely hate him. My husband, I feel
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable towards him. I
Yeah.
feel, he has just locked me up, disconnected from the world. Okay,
Mm.
I'm just inside and it's suffocating inside.
Mm.
So I asked her, then why don't you leave him? Okay. Oh, well, because I don't know. Once, like in India, to be divorced or to be a widow is a taboo, right?
Yes.
It's not so safe. This is a world outside is not safe. Okay,
Mm.
what if, what if I leave my husband and how will I survive? Okay,
Right.
right? And then she had certain dreams of being raped, of being sexually abused. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and in her whole life, her experience was, whatever I do, I am disappointed.
Mm.
Completely disappointed. And that has led to a phase of indifference where she wants to be all alone.
Yes.
Okay, she wants to be in her own shell, but again, that is suffocating because she has always been an independent female. She was working, she was getting
Mm.
well paid off, and now suddenly she's
Yeah.
shuttered off from world.
So
Okay,
can I guess something? Can I say some things about her pattern that I'm noticing?
yes, surely,
Just to show how some of these fit together, because I've never heard this case before. We didn't talk about it.
yeah,
So I'm noticing like she's really worried about her survival. And, she can't leave her husband because then this is a survival issue. And I know that in homeopathy, we're we're using remedies that are usually made from plants or animals or minerals, and
yes,
those three kingdoms have different basic patterns.
yes,
And in the animal kingdom, the basic idea is survival. To survive, she wants to hide, but then she feels suffocated. So she has this conflict. And I know that when this pattern, and you show this kind of gesture, and there's this energy of going inside and being protected, but that's also suffocating. We know that as the mollusk family. So
yes,
I'm just telling this because I think it's really interesting for our listeners to see, how did we learn to understand these patterns? How do you connect the holistic totality of what somebody is telling you to remedies? So I'll say a little bit more what I noticed. So but she was very independent and she was working. So that's a mollusk. Mollusk is like the clam family. Not everybody knows, like clams, oysters, things like that, but also octopuses and squid and things like that. So it's that range. So like down at the clam end or the oyster end, you have somebody who's normally not very independent. But over here on the other end of the mollusk family, you have octopuses. You have some very intelligent animals that can really move around and move quickly. and they have more independence if you see that pattern in a person. So I know that sepia, the cuttlefish, has, it's often this, when somebody feels great indifference, and this pattern of, we know a symptom in sepia is aversion to her husband, and it's this kind of very dragged down feeling, like life has become very disappointing and I feel indifferent to everything,
Yes.
and I feel completely oppressed and shut down. I had all this independence, but now it's been taken away from me, and they and so it's not only for women, but people can feel very oppressed in their life, and they've just had enough. It makes them want to get violent or scream. So that's what I thought of when you were
Yes.
describing that pattern. So is that, did you get your sepia?
Yes, I did give her sepia. So you see, this is how, like, in a in first case the headache pattern was different. In the
Yes.
second case, the headache pattern is different.
Yes.
Okay, so depending upon, it's not just the headache that we are going through, it's the whole life cycle that we are going to see of this
Yes.
person. Okay, now if I have to give another example, there was a person with a headache again. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
this person during a headache will crave a lot of salt. Okay,
Yeah.
he will enjoy having salt, or the headache will be brought on when she was exposed to sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this person will have extreme craving for salt, bread. Okay,
Yes.
for and was very thin. Now if you go look at this person, she was very thin, long necked, and this person will love to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yet crave for company.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
Mm-hmm.
see the difference.
Yes.
Okay,
So
yet feel she would like to be alone. She wouldn't disclose herself very easily to people, and yet feel a need of somebody being there. Okay,
mm-hmm.
someone whom she could completely depend upon. Now here
Yes.
you see a third pattern evolving. Okay,
Yes.
and a headache will typically come up in the morning time or
Mm-hmm.
afternoons. Okay, when the sun will reach its peak, headache will weep. Okay, and will weep when she
The
was
headache
alone.
she'll weep.
Yeah, she will weep.
So she's alone, and when she's alone, she's
Yeah,
crying. So she has a
yes,
lot of emotion associated with this headache.
yes. And she will feel that she's all alone in this world. Okay, even
Mm.
in her dreams, she will get a lot of dreams that will talk about people who were, like, her friends who are not there anymore with him, people who are leaving her all alone.
Yeah.
There was a history of being disappointed by people in her life.
Yeah.
There was a best friend whom she trusted a lot, and this friend of hers only deceived her.
Yeah.
Okay, so the feeling of being disappointed, being of betrayed, okay, the trust was let down, was there in this person. Okay,
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
down by the person whom she was dependent on for love, care, and nourishment.
Can I guess it again? Can I talk about the patterns that I'm
Yes,
seeing? Okay, I
yes,
love this. I didn't know we were going to do this, but it's a lot of fun. So, excuse me, I think I better take a little water. Um, you're talking about somebody who has like two feelings going on at the same time. On the one hand, she's really needing people to be close to. She feels dependent. She is she's really needing people. She's wanting people close. She's wanting company. On the other hand, she's wanting to be alone, and she's feeling let down by people, like she can't really trust them. So this is a
yes,
very conflicted state. And um, what I'm it's actually I think it's a mineral state, because sometimes what happens in minerals is when we have a salt of two elements coming together, that's like two very conflicting themes. So in this an example of like when I say a salt, I mean just a combination of two elements, like calcium carbonate is calcium plus carbon. So that would have the characteristics of calcium and the characteristics of carbon put together to. So this is not a calcium carbonate, but that was just an example for people to understand what I mean by a salt.
Yes.
But in her instance, there's something with this theme of emotional dependence and really wanting people close like a best friend and really wanting to rely. And then on the other hand, I can't rely on people and I feel disappointed and let down and betrayed. And so she's emotional, but she cries when she's alone because she can't really share her heart. She wants to. She has all these feelings, but she doesn't really feel she can share that. So, and there's some things I know about this remedy that it's worse from the sun, and that this person craves salt, and some other things you mentioned. But here's the thing, that in this case, the thing she craves is the remedy, because it's
Yes.
salt, right?
It's
So
salt.
we call it the remedy natrum muriaticum. It's sodium chloride is another way to say it. And it's table salt. It's just what you put on your food. And the sodium element has the theme of emotional dependence and really needing people close and wanting to be very close with people. And the chlorine element, the muriaticum, has a feeling I'm betrayed, I can't trust, and a feeling of needing to separate because,
Yes.
it's a very feeling like I've been hurt, that sort of thing.
Want to be together at the same time being hurt by the person whom she wants to be together with.
Right, exactly. When you put those two
Yeah.
together, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So
So I am dependent. So you see, in the three cases, there were three different patterns.
mhm,
The first case, there was sensitivity. Okay.
yes, that's right.
Sensitivity with fear and paralyzed or panic. Another case,
Yes,
okay, a feeling of being completely shut off, being suffocated, and something is being done to her by someone.
yes.
Okay, so it was a pattern of someone doing something.
She's an
Okay,
animal,
and the
an animal
yeah,
pattern.
animal pattern. And the third case, you see, was a pattern of wanting to be complete and wanting to be dependent for love, care, and nourishment, and being disappointed by the very same person, right?
Yes,
So, this is the different thing. I think this is what individualizes homeopathy. To other times,
yes,
like most of my friends, they tell me most of the time, like, okay, plants, minerals have been used by an Ayurvedic person also, or a Unani also. Why
yeah. Or an
homeopathy?
an
Yeah,
herbalist.
most,
Yes.
yeah. Why? How is that homeopathy different from other herbal medicines? So this is where the difference arises. Okay, where we
Mm,
try to go beyond the active principle or the reaction on the organ.
mhm.
Okay, like in herbal medicine, certain medicines will be used for certain conditions, whereas in homeopathy it's not that. You go beyond that condition.
Yes,
Understand what is it that is making this substance itself unique from the other substance, and
that's
the
right.
similar kind of a persona you try to find who fits in with the substance.
Yes.
So my patient will not be a patient of just thyroid for me, or just headache, or just diarrhea, or just fever.
Mhm,
Even in acute condition, okay, these
mhm,
things will come up. Now, many of us suffer very frequently from fevers,
mhm.
virals, right?
Yes.
This is what we see. The previous cases were description of the chronic ailments, right? But most often, fevers, acute comes up, right? Now, in fevers, how people can differently react, okay? Now, some fever can be more in the morning, some in the afternoon,
Mhm,
some in the evening.
mhm.
Some might have a spike, some might be continuous. Okay, the overall pattern changes. Like I remember one of the case with one of my friend I had seen. Now, this person, uh, my friend, I think
I'm saying we should wind up.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so
Okay. So
just
just
so
in
we don't be
short,
too long.
yeah. So in acute condition, we have like a fever. A person comes up and says, "Oh my God, I need to go back home. I need to rest. I want to be alone. I need to rest. The fever is too
Yes,
much." Whereas there'll be another person who will be in fever also, be standing up and doing work.
yes,
So one side there is with fever wants to rest, and one side it's industriousness with fever. So the
yeah.
remedies also. One who wants rest is bryonia, and one
Mm,
who wants he's industrious even in fever is natswamika.
right, right,
Right?
yes,
So
yeah,
even simple things discriminate and make homeopathy a very special science in its own self, and
yes.
I think that's it.
And yeah, I just want to say before we wrap up, the headache examples are simple because it's just a headache. But if someone comes to us with a serious chronic illness, we're doing the same thing. We're going deeply into their experience, and those patterns will show how they developed that illness,
Yes.
and it will give us a lot of information about what it's any illness. Like if somebody comes to you with diabetes, it's not the
Yes.
same as somebody else's diabetes. We have to go within. We have to go follow that person's experience inside, and so we talk quite deeply with them, especially if it's something bigger than a headache. That's going to be a
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
There's more we need to know about the
A second
life.
message maybe for the listeners will be that homeopathy cures man in disease or not disease in man.
Yeah, that's right. We're
Yeah.
treating we're treating the person and not the disease. Just to paraphrase from James Tyler Kent, a beloved
Yes.
old teacher
Yes.
from the previous century. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I hope this discussion has helped you out there to better understand homeopathy and how we individualize and how we match a remedy to the individual, and which brings about deep cure and a lot of changes in that person because of the depth of what we're addressing. So thank you for talking with me, Sadaf. I hope you have a
Most
wonderful
welcome,
day.
Oonagh. Thanks a lot again.
Yeah, I look forward to our next chat.
Yes.
Okay, and so
Goodbye.
people, please, there will be information below about how you can get in touch with Sadaf for a session, or how you can get in touch with me for homeopathy. And also, please subscribe to the video channel if you would like more great information like this. So, goodbye. Take care.
Bye.